Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to be making some spaghetti. So the first thing you're going to be needing is some bell pepper, some onion, and I got some Hillshire smoked sausage. Now what you're going to do is go ahead and cut your bell pepper up. I'm not going to use this whole bell pepper. I think I used only half and then I froze the other half. And then what I'm going to do is dice some of them, and then some of them I'm just going to slice them and put them in like snack bag, freezer bags. That way when I get ready to cook my next meal, I'll have it already chopped up and ready to go, because let's be honest, food is very expensive right now and I don't want to waste any kind of food. So I try to if I'm chopping a bell pepper or onion, I try to go ahead and freeze it. Now that we got our bell pepper chopped, we're going to go ahead and cut an onion. Now, if you're wondering how to cut an onion, this is how you cut it. You cut it down the center, and then I'll show you where I guess you can call it the eye. I don't know what it's, the root or whatever. I don't know what the proper name for it. But like, don't cut that part, because that's what's going to make you cry. What you need to do is cut the other half of the onion, put it out the way, and then just peel it. The top layer. Sometimes I peel the first layer of the onion, just depending on if I can get that sticky film, that clear film that you see on this onion paper, off. Now, if I can't, then I'll peel the top layer off. Then next thing I'm going to do is just take my onion and like start making slits in the onion. And then I'll go lengthwise and just make like little lines in the onions, and then you get perfect onion slices every time. And then just go ahead and dice it up. So again, I'm not going to use the whole entire onion, but I am going to go ahead and get it chopped up, and then put the excess away in my freezer. I got this half chopped. Now I'm going to go ahead and chop the other half off camera, and then I'll come back and show you the next steps. Okay, now that I got my onions and bell peppers chopped, I'm gonna take my Hillshire Farm smoked sausage. You're more than welcome to use whatever sausage you see fit for you and your family, but this is just something my husband and my daughter likes, so that's what I'm gonna be using. Now I took the sausage and cut it in half, and then I took the halves and cut them into fourths. Then I'm gonna take the fourth that I have and chop it up in half, and then I'm going to chop it up into smaller pieces of sausage. You can use as much or as little as you want, but I'm just using just enough for them to give it a little bit of different flavor than just ground turkey in the spaghetti. The other halves I'm going to take and chop them in half, but I'm going to put them in a freezer bag. That way, if they want sausage sandwich or sausages for breakfast or whatever, then they can just pull it out and cook it that way. Okay, so here are all the ingredients that I'm going to be using for my spaghetti. I'm just using some Great Value spaghetti noodles. Again, you can use whatever you see fit for you and your family. I'm using some Bertolli tomato and basil sauce. Normally I buy the organic kind, but this is all they had at the store. For the seasonings, I'm going to be using Lawrys seasoning salt. I buy the 20% less sodium. Next, I'm going to be using some ground black pepper. Again, you can use fresh pepper if you choose. Here is some onion powder. This is optional because you are using real onions. I am using garlic powder. I am not using real garlic, so I'm going to use garlic powder. For the other seasonings, I'm going to use dry oregano leaves. I like dry herbs, so that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using Italian seasoning as well. Some dried thyme leaves. Some dried parsley flakes. Some dried basil. Some dried rosemary. And those will be all the ingredients. I'll try to put a picture up so you can see it. But here are all the ingredients that I'm going to be using. Okay, so what I already have going is my ground turkey in a pot. I'm just gonna kind of smash it up so it can start breaking up. In another pot, I already have my water boiling, and once it starts boiling, then I'll go ahead and add my noodles. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my Lawrys seasoning to this. I forgot to mention I normally use Mrs. Dash salt-free seasoning, but they didn't have none in the store, so I'm just using what I got. And then once we get that seasoning with that, then we're gonna add the garlic powder. Then we're gonna add the onion powder. Again, this is optional. You don't have to. You just use whatever you got at home. Once we do that, we're going to be adding our onions and green peppers, and we're going to let them cook down with the ground turkey. Again, I only use half of the onion and half of the green bell pepper. You can use red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper. You use what you like, but this is what I like to do in my spaghetti. I'm going to give this a quick stir. I forgot to add the black pepper during this step, but I did eventually add it at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and let this start browning, and then I'll come back and show you guys what that looks like. This is just a reminder, when you're cooking this, come back and check on your food. Like, just don't leave it and let it cook, because again, this is like ground beef. It will turn into a patty if you don't come and stir it and check on it every once in a while. So remember to stir this and break it down as you are cooking. Now, once it's done cooking, this is what it's going to look like. Then I'm going to add I'm going to be adding my sausage to this, and then I'm going to let that cook down for a little bit. Sausages are kind of fatty, so this will produce some kind of oil at the bottom of your pan. What I do is just let it cook out, because it's not like it's a lot of fat or oil, and I just let it be. I wish videos had like smell-o-vision, because if you could smell this, you'd be like, oh my god, that smells so good. I'm trying to take the camera and show you guys what it's looking like and how the oil is cooked out of the pan. It doesn't take long for it to do that. Now that I got the camera back down, I'm going to be adding my tomato sauce. I am not using the whole jar because I am cooking separate sauce for myself. So I'll say I used about 3/4 of the sauce in the main spaghetti, and then my spaghetti I just use maybe 1/4 because I'm the only one eating it. Then what I do is I take that jar that had the sauce in it, I pour a little water in it, and then I give it a good shake. And then I get all the rest of the sauce out of there, because again, food is too expensive to be wasting. Once I pour that into the pot, then I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick stir. Once I'm done stirring, I'm going to go ahead and start adding all of my herbs to the pot. So the first herb that I'm going to be using, again, I've already mentioned these at the beginning, is just some dried thyme. Now, I'm not measuring none of this. This is just eyeballing it, and I'm doing until I think my ancestor says that's enough. I'm going to be adding my parsley. Okay, again, I forgot to add black pepper at the beginning, so now I'm going to add my black pepper. Then I'm going to be adding some oregano. I started taking the top off of these because trying to push those out those little holes is like annoying. So I took the top off of them. Here's some basil. Italian seasoning. Then I'm going to add my rosemary. If you're wondering why it's in the bag, I don't know. That's the way they just sold it at the store, so I bought it that way. And then once I'm done adding all my herbs, I'm going to give it a quick stir. And make sure everything is incorporated well. Y'all, this smells so good. Look how pretty it looks. Ew. Okay, now that I got all this stirred up and incorporated, I'm going to go ahead, put the top on it while my noodles are cooking and kind of let this simmer and get a little thick and let everybody marinate. And then I'll come back as I'm putting it together and when it's done. Okay, so this was simmering for about 10 minutes or so, maybe longer. I don't know. I didn't keep time, but 10 minutes at least minimum. And this is what it's looking like. My noodles are done. So I'm going to go ahead and take a tongs and just not pour it, but like tong it from one pot to the next because I didn't want to get out of the strainer. So I'm just doing something to get the noodles out. I'm going to be doing a little bit of noodles at a time because, you guys, I always overcook pasta when I'm making pasta. And when I do, with the leftover pasta, what I do is I take it and make pasta salad for either my daughter or my husband to have for lunch for the next day for work or school. That way I won't be wasting food. I always have vegetables at my house like tomatoes and cucumbers. I always have some kind of lunch meat, carrots, all that kind of stuff. I always have that in my house. So I just make leftover pasta. I just make it with pasta salad. Now here is the spaghetti put together. When I tell you this smells so good, I wish I could eat it, but I can't. I probably can, but I just don't. But this is what it's looking like. Now I'm gonna go ahead and plate it up for you guys. I'm just using a regular bowl. I am taking my tongs to get the spaghetti noodles out, and then I'll take my tongs or spoon, or spoon that I cook the spaghetti with, and just take the meat sauce that's kind of like not sticking to the noodles and just pour it on top. But my husband devoured this. My daughter devoured it. They loved it. Okay, so sometimes I do top it with Parmesan cheese, but they didn't want that, so I didn't put it on there. But this is what the spaghetti is looking like. And when I tell you this smells so good, too bad I couldn't eat it. I keep saying that. I don't eat meat if you're wondering why I didn't eat it. So yeah, this is what the spaghetti is looking like. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.